Y'all think men are playing. They're not. Mosey on up to that bar and buy your own drink.
Does anyone want to go home with me tonight? Anyone? No? No? Okay, going once, going twice, going thrice. 4, 5, 6 times 7. 6 times 7 is 42. Okay, I'm done.
Males should have to contribute just as much to a female's pregnancy if she is going to carry said thing.
Fair. Let me hold you to that standard then. Time out. Therefore, if a woman is going to have is it 50% the man's decision?
If we hold males to this responsibility, I believe that they should, at least be able to, have a say. But that is my personal opinion.
Or 20%?
In the end, it is a female's body, and they have the right to decide what they do with their body.
Okay, but to just to play that out, if the baby is a baby girl in there, doesn't that baby girl also have a right to decide to her own body?
We're still they can't even make decisions yet.
Exactly. So then isn't it best not to terminate them because they can't make decisions?
You're still not answering my question. How are we supposed to hold the person? Because you just said that pregnancy comes from two people, does it not? And you're supposed to be responsible for your own orgasm.
Yes, I know
correct?
How reproduction works. If your contention is that men should be held more accountable for impregnating women, yeah, of course, the law already reflects a lot of that. That's why child support decisions go 99% against men, okay? The law is way, way, way in the woman's favor.
They continue to want to do whatever they want to do, however they want to do it, and don't really have a say-so unless they give the man a say-so. But when a man says, well, wait a minute, I think this would be fair in this situation, all of a sudden he's a misogynist.
I'm 32 years old, single, living in New York City, and I don't think I've ever been in love before. I've been in 2 long-term relationships, one of which ended within the last year. I was just at brunch with my family, and I'm the only one who's single. It made me really think, now that I'm home alone, how different my timeline in life has turned out based on what I thought it was going to look like. There's so much power that I'm still grappling with in having a faith that is bigger than me, that the universe is taking care of me, and it hasn't forgotten about me. It's not leaving me behind. There is so much order and beauty in the world that it's hard not to believe that something greater is at play if you try to really turn in and channel it and listen to that deep voice and that quiet little whispers that are inching you ever along. So easy to get wrapped up in everything that's going on external that makes you feel behind. I'm trying to remind myself that that's just a story that my body and my mind and my thoughts are telling me, and the timeline doesn't exist. There's no such thing. There's no rush. There's no guarantee that someone is going to swoop in and knock me off my feet by the time I'm 35, because that's what society says is supposed to happen. So if this resonates with you and you have trouble pulling yourself out of the idea of a timeline and a set order of things happening when they're supposed to, quote unquote, how about we just maybe try as much as we can to just let that go and enjoy and romanticize this time that we do have by ourselves, because it's fleeting, and I suppose there's going to be a time when we will give anything for quiet, still moments to just be one with ourselves and have no greater responsibilities than just to take care of ourselves. It's such an honor.
How are you in 2 long-term relationships but you're not in love? Like, what were you doing that whole time? What do you call it? Are you going to go on some type of rant to try to redefine love? Oh, I thought I loved, but this is what love actually is. What are you doing right now?
Squad guys walked in and immediately looked, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna have some issues here.
My name's Jimmy. I work at Best Buy, and I sold her that TV. She says that the Geek Squad guy says there's going to be problems basically because of the way the plugs are. When you have a frame TV like that, it has to have certain requirements, or it's just not really going to work. And she's mad because she bought that not knowing that, and then got home and they had to take it back and another TV, whatever. But that's only one side of the story. Her and her friend walked into our store. They're walking through the TVs. They go to the frame TVs. We see them over there and we go to approach them to try to sell them a TV. That's our job. Before we make it over there, they go up to someone and say, hey, we would like that TV. That person then goes to the back to get their TV. Since I was already walking up, I decided I would go up there, talk to him anyway. And I walked up to tell her exactly what her video's about. I said, hey, I see you're looking at that framed TV. Have you looked into, and before I could get the next word out, it was, ew, I have a boyfriend. I've already been helped. Thank you. Leave me alone. So I said, okay.
And let this be a reminder to stop acting stupid when people are trying to help you. Well, how was I supposed to know that? By not acting stupid.
I'm going to get yelled at for saying this, but princess treatment isn't romantic. It's a socially accepted way to avoid being an adult in a relationship. We have raised generations, including the Disney girls, on love means someone is going to come save you. That's not a partnership. That's just a fantasy. And as a kid, that fantasy might have kept you safe. But now as an adult, you're not dating your mom or dad. You don't need to fantasize about someone coming to get you. In a healthy and secure relationship, no one is anticipating every single one of your needs without you communicating that to them. Because psychologically, it keeps you stuck in arrested development where you continue to act like a child with your partner.
This is what we're here for! Come on! The game's never been so back. This is what we're here for, healing in the world. The world is healing. Don't get it twisted. As a manager, you have to spend money on players. That is a given. Nobody is saying that you shouldn't spend money on girls. But the concept of spending money on girls has been stretched and dragged. Don't ever let money be the determining factor in your relationship. If you lead with money and you keep using money to get through to your girl, you're never actually going to know what she is. Away from that money, adjust your actions according to your lifestyle. Don't go broke trying to impress women. She's your responsibility, yes, but as an individual, there should be certain things that she's doing for herself. You shouldn't be doing everything for that girl.
I saw the craziest interaction last night, and I hate to say this, I really do, but it kind of made me empathize with a lot of guys out there because I have never seen it play out this way before. Basically, I was out with my friends when we decided to pop into Inner Crew just to say hi to a couple other friends, and obviously we get in and we head straight to the bar. Like as always, everyone's trying to get the bartender's attention. And so I'm standing there because I'm usually the one that orders for my friends, and I'm standing there next to a couple. I didn't really notice much about the couple except that the woman was really talking very excitedly to the guy, and the guy was listening very intently, like he was engaged in the conversation. Soon after, the guy manages to get the bartender's attention and he places the order. The girl's still talking to him. They're both yapping. They're having a good conversation. So the bartender finishes making the drinks and passes it on to them, and the girl ends up pulling out her card. Which I'm like, in my head, it's also pretty normal because I tend to buy my guy friends drinks all the time, so I didn't really think much of it. The minute the card goes into the bartender's hand, the guy turns around and leaves. The guy that she was talking to just disappeared. He moves so fast. I've never seen a guy move that fast before. And I think she was a little shocked too because honestly, I've never seen a situation play out like that before. And like usually I never accept drinks from strangers. I never say yes to guys buying me drinks. But I think this situation definitely solidified my decision. And yeah, I don't know. I have no thoughts.
First off, you're not going to be stopping a man from doing anything. You're not letting a man do anything. He's going to do whatever he wants to do, regardless of all of the foolishness that's coming out of your mouth. Y'all sat out here playing too much, and the man decided it's time for me to take my ball and go home. She says in the comments, to be clear, this woman bought this man a drink. He took the drink and then dipped. Oh, is that a problem now? Is it a problem? Because men have been complaining about this, and y'all keep on telling men, oh, this is just what happens in dating. Man up, grow a pair, pay for the woman's drink, pay for her dinner, regardless of how she treats you. Be a real protector and provider. Be a real man. But the moment a man says, you know what? How about you buy me a drink? Oh, I'm not interested in you. All of a sudden it's a problem.
We need to correct the natural order of things. Why are beautiful women talking about KPIs? Why are hot girls circling back?
Girl, let me explain something to you. Let me teach you a little something called supply and demand. You know, back in the day, it seemed like everybody in the 70s and 80s had their own house. And because everybody had their own house, it just felt like houses might have costed $10,000, $20,000 at most. Oh, but as the population and the market for home buyers grew, the amount of houses did not keep up with the amount of home buyers. And now we're seeing a simple 3-bedroom house that might have been $5,000 back in the 60s is now over $600,000. And it's the same house. If I gotta spell it out to you, women are the home buyers and men are the homes. And by no means am I saying that all men are a home that a woman wants to have. What I am saying is the amount of homes that are actually livable, that are actually in a place that you want to live, are very limited. So there are hundreds, thousands of people who could previously afford a pretty good home, who in a different time would be able to walk outside and get whatever home they wanted, are now having to settle for an apartment because there are no homes available. To get one of the mediocre homes that are available, you have to go through an immense competition because of supply and demand. If you're a man and you just hit that threshold, like you're just over that threshold of checking the boxes of things that women want, it is an amazing world out here. Y'all be safe.
And unfortunately, for you, there's some nice apartments out there that are now raising their rent. So the apartment that you thought you were able to afford, you waited too long, somebody else came in, showed interest in it, and now you have to pay a little bit more. Surprise, surprise.
If you go on a date with someone and you show up and they've already bought a drink before you got there and you're only like 5 minutes late, what do? Is that like, absolutely not, I don't like that? Or is it like, oh, cool, like whatever? Because personally, I don't like that. Like, you really couldn't wait 5 minutes or ask me what I wanted?
Woman in the comments said, you being late is more of a red flag than them ordering a drink while waiting on you. Another girl said, bro, what? A date is an experience for both parties. He's sitting there all nervous. He can order a drink. Another woman says, girl, it's a drink. Here's another woman. I swear, some of y'all are begging to be single. The girl says, 5 minutes late, no biggie. Ordered a drink, no biggie. Complaining they entertained themselves while you were late, biggie. Here's the last one, because no, you know what? Another woman says, girl, how dare you come on this app and make me agree with the man? Another woman, apologize and say sorry for being late. Why spin it to make the guy wrong? Stupid. Stop doing this. Delete this video.
If women like men, then why don't women listen to men? If women like men, then why aren't they trying to understand them? If women like men, then why are they trying to change everything about a man that makes him a man? Only conclusion that I can come to after asking myself these questions is that y'all don't really like men. Y'all actually hate them.
I won't go as far as saying that they hate men. I'll just say that they like to disrespect men. Society has taught them that it's okay to disrespect a man to his face because he's not going to do anything. A man is not to put his hands on you in any circumstance or situation. So go ahead and say whatever you need to say that's disrespectful, that's rude, that's inconsiderate, that's emotionally unintelligent. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and do it. Because he's not going to do anything anyway. So they just act in a disrespectful manner. And then they're shocked when a man says, you know what? Deuce. And then all of a sudden it's, why are men not approaching?
So I have a guy friend I used to kiss, and I just found out he's dating my friend who I introduced him to. And that's good because he and I are friends and I'm excited for him. So I went to call him to be like, oh my God, I just found out. How fun. Congratulations. I really see you two together. But what happened was I started crying and we were FaceTiming. So I was like, I'm so happy for you. And then I said, oh my God, I have to hang up now. And then I hung up. Oh, that's fitting.
This is what men are doing nowadays. If you're going to be playing games, I'm going to move on.
I'm not even trying to make this to brag, but like I've had a Hinge for the 5 months that I've lived in Nashville. And I don't really use it because they scare me. Well, I wanted to see how many likes I had so that I could clear them all out and get them over there. I turned on my notifications again so I could see how many likes I have because I don't have any chats. 3,100 likes. At what point does Hinge say, you can't get any more likes if you're not going to answer? I feel like I need to restart and make a new Hinge. Like, I can't go through 3,000 likes. That's crazy.
And with 3,000 dudes liking her page, not a single one will meet her standards. That's crazy.
What'd you say?
I need you to take me to my baby daddy's house after our date.
Why?
Because I need to see him.
Why do you need to see
He
him?
texted me and said that he wants to see me.
You think it would have been nice to tell me you had a baby daddy?
It's only our first date.
I know, but that's still weird.
Listen, it's cool. We're just dating, me and you. We went on a little date.
But I'm not okay.
My kid is with my mom. And
Is your kids with him?
No, my kid is with my mom, and I gotta go stop at his
So
house.
what's the vendetta of going over to his house in such a rush?
He told me he wanted me to stop by, so I'm gonna stop by.
Okay, you know what that's insinuating, right?
If you want me, you gotta remember that that's my man at the end of the day.
Nah,
That's
I'm
the
definitely
father
not
of
gonna
my
be
kids.
cool with that at all.
Well, that's just how it is. So you guys. brought me out
I'm mind blown right now. Since when? Like, that's really bad.
It's not bad. You just.
Bro, I don't even know why you trying to sit up here and have a conversation. Tell her she needs to Uber to her baby daddy's house. Period. Point blank.
I might end up deleting this, but sisters, I gotta tell y'all about one of the wildest interactions I've had with somebody's son trying to get my number yesterday. And I'm like, is this what the Gen Z little girls are dealing with? So me and my girls are at this little rooftop situation, little rooftop day party situation. We're sitting in this section, eating our food, drinking our drinks, having a time. And we're sitting next to the exit, and I'm at the very end of the couch. As I'm sitting there, this posse of men come walking up, and the first guy in the posse was like, and it happened so fast, y'all. He was like, hey, yo, you would look good with my homeboy. And points behind him. So I quickly look behind him, and there's this like random tall man that's there. And then all of a sudden I see a phone in my face. Like, the guy who he pointed to just puts a phone directly in my face. Mind you, this man is at least like 6'5", 6'6". I'm sitting down. Phone directly in my face. Y'all, my dog got the zoomies. Hold on. So I look up at him. Like, I look around the phone. I look up at him. I stand up and I put out my hand and I said, hello, what's your name, sir? And he looked at me like, huh? And I said, you're just gonna put your phone in my face without introducing yourself? And you would have thought that this boy had never heard of the concept of introducing himself before asking for somebody's number. But then he started talking, because I asked him, like, what's your name? I had to repeat myself because he was so taken aback. And when he started talking, he had a tooth gem, y'all. So I said, oh, poor baby. What was even more concerning was that as we talked for maybe 5 minutes, he started to say, like, oh my God, I'm just so shocked that you stood up and that you're talking to me. He was like, I don't know, I'm feeling a little nervous. Mind you, he was not giving shy nervous at all. He was giving, he probably played ball somewhere. It felt like I was supposed to know who he was. The only sport I watch is Love Island Games. I don't know who you are. Even if I did, even if you was somebody, to just throw a phone in my face with the keypad and expecting me to go like this and then walking out like a bad boy. What that lady say? If W.E.B., who gonna be the boys?
A woman in the comments said, he must have been fine for you to oblige him. Exactly. I'm glad y'all keep on pointing that out, even though y'all keep on saying men lying about it.
Dating over 50, this just happened, and I am upset about it. And I don't know what to do. So I'm going to jump on here and see what y'all think. So please leave me a comment down below. And I'm definitely a big believer in, you got to listen to your intuition. You got to look within, and I'm certainly going to do that. And I've kind of been doing that. But, I will tell y'all what just happened. So basically, Mr. GK and I had a date planned for this Friday. And, we went to lunch on Tuesday, which we've actually been doing that every week. And it was fun, whatever. But I have been getting some, intuitive hits of things that aren't lining up. I don't know. I can't really explain it. Maybe it's some of his behavior. Maybe it's like sometimes he takes longer to text back, which I know that's not a big deal. So I don't think that's it at all. I don't know. I actually went and even saw my therapist, and she was like, Heather, those really aren't red flags. Those are more like orange flags. And so just don't worry about it. So I was really trying to just like, kind of figured like, you know what, it's probably my past, but like there is some things in his behavior. So I'll give you an example. This morning, he texted me good morning and sent me this link to some video thing he was in. And so I responded and was like, oh, whatever, love it. You did such a good job. And then I said, so what time are we going tonight? Because when we talked on the phone last night, he was like, you know what, I don't really know what time I'll be able to pick you up tomorrow night. And I haven't really made a plan for what we're doing because my daughter, he has his kids this weekend and his daughter is, going to go to the lake, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, I'll let you know the time and place when I get in, and I figured this out last night. Well, then I woke up this morning and he didn't tell me, he didn't text me anything. And then when he sent me the good morning text, there was nothing in there about this is what time I'll pick you up. And so, that's why when I responded to his text this morning, when he sent me that video, I said, great job. But then I also said, what time will you be picking me up? And he didn't respond. And then I went to yoga and I got out of yoga. I sent him that text at 9 a.m. And then I got out of yoga at like 11. I got home at like 11:30. And then by noon, he still hadn't responded. And actually he left me on delivered, which I don't love that. So I thought, well, maybe he didn't read it because, the first line said, good job. And then the second line was the line that said, like, what time are we going tonight? So I thought maybe he is in a meeting and he left it on delivered, so he didn't see the second line. So, of course, I sound like a teenager that I'm freaking out so much about the dumb freaking texting, which I, overthink it, I know. So I sent him a text at noon and I said, did you not get did you not read my above text? ? Because I'm thinking like, surely if you read it, you would have responded. So he called me and he said, right after that, he's like, hey, call me right back. So I did. 1 second, I'm watching my son's dog this weekend and he's being crazy. I'll show y'all. Oh my goodness, you guys stop it right now, stop. And so basically we talked on the phone for like an hour, and not an hour, 30 minutes. And I said, he was like, listen, I'm really sorry, but this is my last weekend with my kids. And he was like, I'm feeling really guilty about leaving my daughter tonight because my other 2 kids are going to be gone. So she was going to be here alone. Mind you, his daughter's 16. And there was a part of me that's thinking like, why would a 16-year-old daughter want to be with her dad on a Friday night? Like, I don't know about y'all, but when I was 16 years old, I was with my boyfriend or with my friends all the time, especially on a Friday night. So that thought did cross my mind. And so I was kind of mad, but he was like, I'm sorry. I should have told you earlier. I was like, that's why I didn't respond to your text because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And, and I actually was like, you know what? I don't love this at all. In fact, it makes me kind of mad and I'm kind of feeling really bad about it because I said, do you even really have time for a relationship? If you have these 3 kids and whatever. And he was like, yeah, I think I do. And I was like, okay, and we kind of talked through it. And again, he was like, I'm sorry. And I said, I also didn't love that you didn't respond to my text. Even if you didn't know what you wanted to do, you should have just said that, like, hey, I'm still not sure what we're going to be doing. So give me a minute or an hour, whatever it is. And then I'll, get back to you. And I also owned my anxiety though. I was like, I know that I'm also anxious and I own that, whatever. If you don't respond to a text, I know I don't need to read that much into it. So I guess we had an okay conversation. He really didn't say like, but here's when I want to see you again. Like I would have loved that. So I actually said, well, when am I going to see you again? And he was like, well, next week I don't have my kids. And I know we talked about getting together on Father's Day, which is Sunday. And I was like, I can't do that. And he's like, okay, well, how about Monday or Tuesday night? So we decided on Tuesday night. But still, I feel like he could have like come over for coffee or asked to have breakfast with me tomorrow morning or something. I don't know. And so we got off the phone and I just feel terrible. And I just feel like, I don't know, something in me is telling me that something seems really off. And again, here I go. Like, is it my anxiety or is it my intuition? And I just don't know. And I guess I won't know until time goes on, but like part of me is like, I should just end it now. because, you know, what if he's lying? But then there's another part of me that's like, well, what if he's not lying? And what if his 16-year-old is an odd 16-year-old who likes to stay home with her dad on a Friday night? What if he is telling me the truth, you know? And so I don't know. So I guess the thing that's like sticking in my head is like, if you don't know what to do, then just don't do anything, you know? So I think I'm just not going to do anything, and I'm just going to see how he shows up. But if this like bad feeling and this sadness or whatever you want to call it, it continues, like, and if, you know, if he continues to kind of treat me this way, because that was not okay. Like canceling a date at noon on Friday, I don't love that. In fact, I hate it, and I deserve more than that. And so there is a big part of me that's like, this is not okay, and I should just break up with a guy. But I'm not 100% sure. So leave me a comment down below and let me know what y'all think. Okay, thanks. Love you guys.
We got a woman in the comments that said, Heather, you have got to give that man some space. You should be happy that he cares about his children. So what if he canceled on Friday at noon? He let you know honestly that he's feeling guilty about his daughter. You honestly seem to be too high maintenance at this point. Another woman says, so this is the situation. This is the situation that you're dealing with. You're too needy. Also, my daughter at 16 was a homebody and she was very introverted. The fact of the matter is, you don't know his 16-year-old daughter, so you don't need to be judging him on what he does with his daughter. You're a little bit too much, and you need to take I'm gonna say chill pill. I don't know what YouTube says about drugs, so I'm gonna say chill pill there and relax. It's kind of annoying. Dang, I keep on telling y'all, she get up on here almost every week with these sob stories about why this ain't working out and that ain't working out. You are terrible at dating.